Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Woodzman Adventures. Today I'm going to do an install of a winch on the 2017 Jeep Wrangler. I opted to get a Quadratec Q series winch. This is the Q9500is, which means this has the integrated solenoid in it, so you don't have to do nothing. All you got is power on the ground, connect to your battery, your control plugs in here, you're ready to go. Super simple. Comes with a Fairlead and all the stuff. I'll zoom up here and give you a better image of what all comes with it. And then we'll go ahead and get to the install. I have a Havoc bumper here that already has the holes drilled in it, pre-drilled, so this winch should fit on any bumper pretty much that has the holes already built in it. If you don't, you can get a mounting plate to put it on. But this is a super good quality winch from Quadratec, and it's got a lot of good features. That's why I chose it. It does have the synthetic line, which is a lot stronger than the steel, lasts longer than steel, and you don't have to worry about the steel. I've had them before where the steel wires break, they start getting in your fingers and stuff. But so we're going to do several videos over time on this thing, and then setup videos and winching videos and how-to videos. But for right now, I'm going to show you this, and we'll do an install video today and get it mounted up. All right, to start with, you can see it comes with an extremely heavy Fairlead here. It comes with a nice bolt mounting kit. It's got of course, it comes with the install kit and the operator's guide that you want to keep in your Jeep in your glove box in case you need tips or know how to do some things on it. Comes with a strap, and this strap is for where you can hook it onto the hook here when you're pulling your line out. You should never put your hand in the hook while pulling it out. It's just actually a good way to injure your hand. Comes with an extremely heavy duty ground cable and positive cable, which is already pre-connected, and then it comes with the switch, which is got your cord here and has it's nice rubberized housing. It's got winch in, winch out, winch in, and the way you can run this around long enough to be in your Jeep while you're using this, which is about the safest place you're going to be while you're winching something. But we'll make videos of winching later. Right now we're just going to do the install and get that started and show you what we're going to do. Alright, the first thing I did was I removed the zip tie from the hook here, just because it'd be hard to get to it once I get it mounted on there. So go ahead and get that zip tie out of the way. Just keep an eye on this as you're picking this up and setting it over there in place. Go ahead and I went ahead and pulled my hook through here. Now we'll still have to put the Fairlead on, but to put the Fairlead on, after I get this bolted on and mounted, I'll have to put this thing, disengage the clutch, pull this cable completely out, put the Fairlead on, put the cable back on, have the rope back on. Do it that way because this just won't fit through the Fairlead. It's just too big and heavy. Alright, as you can see right here, let me zoom in, and you can see the spot where I'm going to put the first nut into the, they're all the same pretty much, but you got to put the nuts in there first and then put the bolts up from the bottom. As you can see, this nut, which is a locking nut, it will set right into a slot in the bottom of the winch mount plate right there. And then we'll go up from the bottom with this bolt right here, and then we'll take a wrench and tighten these all four up, and we'll be good to go on bolting it down. Alright, I got the thing tightened up. It actually, what I done was take this 1/2-inch drive ratchet and a long extension up from the bottom, 15mm socket, tighten them all down tight. So now we need to take and hook the cables up to the battery. We have the positive right here, the ground right here, and we'll go ahead and get them hooked up. Then we'll be ready to do the setup on the winch. Alright, the first thing we need to do on wiring the winch is connect this ground cable that's supplied with it. We get connected to the back on the ground part of the winch motor right here. So what we use there is a 14mm socket, and remove this bolt. And we will take this end that has the boot on it is the one that will go on here. It turned just right like that. Alright, you want to make sure that you did get the ground cable that's connected on here, goes to the solenoid up here. You'll make sure you got it on here, and then bolt them both on. Then you'll take this boot and put it back on there, and this will help prevent some of the mud and debris and stuff from getting on your connections. Okay, I run my two cables, the hot and the ground, up underneath, around behind the cab mount, and then I'll run it right up through this corner like so. Take up my slack, and then I'm going to go right under this little cross member right here, which should put me about to where the battery compartment is, like so. I have my positive and negative here, so I can connect them to the battery. Alright, the first thing I want to do is go ahead and hook my ground up right here. Just a 10mm socket. And the factory, it doesn't come with this and that, but I've already connected wires to some of my equipment, so I've already got one on here. If not, you can get one at the hardware store. It is metric. Take it off, run around, put your ground on this side. Make sure you don't get the polarity wrong, or sparks will fly for sure. I'm going to keep my cables routed to where they're not near any engine parts or get hot. So I'll route it with this other cable. And I'm going to take the positive and go over here on this side, remove the nut and connect it. Okay, now one thing I want to do is I'll add a few zip ties in places to hold this thing, and I want to keep it out of the way. Make sure that neither one of the ground or the positive is touching any of the metal pieces or anything that would rub a hole in this and cause it to short to ground. So you want to be real careful about that. Make sure it's routed in place where it's not going to cut into this. And then we're ready to set up the winch. Alright, now we got the winch bolted on good and solid. We got the cables hooked to the battery, the positive and the negative, ran nice, neat. I zip tied them up to keep them away from any sharp objects. Now all we got to do is we're going to take the switch, connect it right here. It has a notch in it so you can line it up in the right spot. Take off the little rubber boot, put the switch on, tighten this down, and there we got it installed. Make sure that if you have this thing all the way up, that you do not put the winch in button. Do not switch it to winch in, because it's going to pull this up and could do some damage if you do it too tight. So you make sure you do the winch out. So we know it does work now. And one thing before messing with this is always put on safety gloves before you start pulling the cord out or anything and messing with it. Alright, I want to show you here. This is the lever here, stainless steel. This is your clutch engage right here. If you go this way, our clutch is engaged, which is where we will use the switch and we can winch out or winch in. Or to pull, just pull the line out, we'll put it back here, which is free spool. Lock it in this position. You can pull the cable out, connect it to whatever you're going to pull. Then you want to make sure you put this back on the clutch engage. You can do winch in. There's also another feature on this winch, is these Allen bolts here bolt this plate on here, this end cap, and if you don't like this position that your winch handle is in, your engaged clutch handle, if you don't like where it's at, you can actually remove these bolts, and I believe it's like 12 positions, but you could rotate this where your handle's back or front depending on the situation, the vehicle you're putting it on, if there's anything obstructing it. But just so you know, when you see this, it's not only this position. You can move that to whatever position you want, put all your Allen bolts back in, and you're good to go. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is put on some gloves for protection before you go messing with your winch. Just in case, this is not actually cable, it is synthetic, but you still want to wear gloves just to protect yourself while you're doing it. Get some gloves on. We'll need to take this and put it in free spool. and then we're going to pull this all the way out. Alright, now that we got all the winch line pulled all the way out, we can remove the winch line from here with a 4mm Allen wrench, and then we'll install the Fairlead and we'll pre-tension it and run it back in. As you can see here, it's bolted here to the drum inside here. Anyway, we'll remove the 4mm Allen screw from here. Now, you want to understand that this piece of aluminum that's crimped onto our winch line is not actually made to hold pressure. This is just to hold it while you get it spooled, and once you get the line spooled, the tension of the line will hold it on here. So you wouldn't want to run your winch all the way out to where you're pulling on this. When your line is pulling on this, because it will not hold. That's not what it's intended for. You at least need to have a full spool wrapped before you hook onto anything, at least. So now we can install our Fairlead. We take this right here, and we got the bolts that come with it, the washer. Stick it right on here. Put the nut on the back side. Same on this side. This is a 16mm socket on this side, a 15mm wrench on that side. Alright, now we can stick our cable back through the Fairlead and tighten it back down in the same place where it was. Okay, now we got the Fairlead installed back on here, bolted up, and the winch line connected back to the drum. So all we need to do now is run this thing up and pre-tension it. Okay, the first thing we want to do is we want to reel this thing in. We don't have to have tension on it, but we want to wrap the tow line around the drum until we feel all the way across the drum. So we can just do that without the tension on it at first. And we'll just guide it in until it gets across all the way across. Alright, this is where my little Ford Ranger is going to come in handy. I'm going to hook it onto it. I got the emergency brake set on the Ranger, and it's put in gear. Connected under here on the bumper is what I'm going to do, because we're not going to be pulling an extreme load. They say about 500 pounds of tension, and I'm pulling the Jeep actually up a small grade, and then just to keep tension on the rope. It's always a good idea to go ahead and throw a blanket over the line, even though this is not cable, this is synthetic tow line, but just on the safe side we'll go ahead and do that. And anytime that you're winching, it's a good idea to go ahead and have your Jeep running. So luckily I have my lovely wife here, and she can sit in the Jeep and steer it as I pull the Jeep up through here. We got just enough grade, I think, to keep the tension on the rope. Okay, go ahead and start her up. I'm just going to keep an eye on the line as it winches in, and it should be tension. She's going to put the Jeep in neutral, and we got it running just to keep the battery charged up as we go, and we'll just use winch in on this. It's also a good idea to, if you're supposed to be doing a lot of winching, not to run your winch for a long period of time. Give it a break every once in a while, let it cool if you're using it a lot. One thing to remember when winching too is that the safest spot is always in the Jeep. This is low enough you can reach, sit right in the driver's seat and winch. Just pre-tensioning the line now. Normally you would not want to be out here around the line just in case there was a problem, and keep everybody else clear while you're doing your winching. Okay, it's a good idea. Just go ahead and leave it about 12 foot long. We've got enough reach here. And then I'm going to go ahead and have her pull forward so we can take the tension off, and I can unhook it from the truck and feed the last 10 or 12 feet into the winch. Okay, anytime when you're winching in, you want to use your winch hook strap that comes with your winch, and all you do is just hook it on here, just for safety precautions, especially when you're getting close. You don't want to get your hands in anything and get hurt, but you can use this strap, hold tension on it, and winch in. And I'm just winching in the last 10 to 12 feet of my winch here. Okay, one thing to be sure of when you're running it in is be careful. Do not get your hands around this at all. This could be really serious when you got your hands around this while you're winching. But run it in, leave you a little bit of slack so you can hook it off somewhere, like on this clevis right here. And should be good to go like that. And ready for getting stuck. Hopefully we don't. So anyway, thanks for watching Woodzman Adventures. I'm going to put a link to this Q9500is winch from Quadratec down below, so you can click on it and go check them out. And I'm going to take this thing here off. Good thing about it is you take this off, hook your cap up right here, stow this away in your Jeep so it's nice and dry and protected and kept in good shape. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Click the thumbs up, please subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Right on.